Hi, I'm Megan Griffith, co-author of the Recovering from Mental Illness blog here on HealthyPlace, and today we're going to get real about the L word, lazy. Sometimes I can be lazy, and I'm learning to accept that. It's really hard because lazy is a word I use to shame myself a lot, something I think a lot of people with mental illness can relate to. When others don't understand our symptoms, they tend to call us lazy or assume that we just aren't trying hard enough. And many of us internalize that message. So instead of being compassionate with ourselves and acknowledging that, by definition, our symptoms impair our functioning and get in the way of daily life, we start calling ourselves lazy to try to shame ourselves into doing whatever it is that needs done. Instead of a normal human characteristic, lazy becomes this horrible pitfall that we must avoid at all costs to maintain our worth. So it's really hard for me to admit that I can be lazy sometimes, but I'm working on it because sometimes I am lazy, and that's okay. Sometimes I don't want to do my work. I sit down to write and I'm immediately bored. I just want to do something else or do nothing, and right away my brain's depression sensors start going off. Lack of motivation, lack of interest, we're clearly depressed. So I start freaking out, and this is when the L word starts coming up. I'm just lazy, I'm just awful, and what do I even do with my life besides just be depressed all the time? And at that point, I'm so worked up and so exhausted from being so worked up that all I can really do is watch TV or take a nap, and that only makes me feel lazier. Sometimes when this happens, I really am depressed, and this is the fun spiral my brain goes into when it goes haywire. But I'm starting to realize that sometimes when this happens, the only symptoms of depression I'm exhibiting are the lack of motivation and the lack of interest in my work specifically. Otherwise I'm hopeful, talkative, I enjoy the activities I actually want to be doing. To my horror, I started realizing, am I being lazy? The truth is, yeah, sometimes I'm not depressed, I'm not anxious, sometimes I just straight up don't want to do the thing because I'm being lazy. That's terrifying for me to admit because it feels like that means everyone who's ever called me lazy or said I'm just not trying hard enough must be right. But just because other people use laziness as a way to dismiss mental illness doesn't mean that mentally ill people can't also be lazy sometimes. Sometimes you just don't want to do the thing. I'm learning that it's a lot easier to accept that and say, okay, tough nuts, kid, we have to get it done anyway and just do the thing, rather than, denying that I could possibly ever be lazy and proceeding to have an entire mental breakdown because I think I'm depressed. So I'm just learning that life is better when I'm honest with myself about what I'm experiencing, even if I'm not proud of what I'm experiencing. I don't love being lazy, but sometimes I am. And it's healthier to acknowledge that than to get wrapped up in all of the shame around the L word. So if you're watching and you're feeling lazy today and feeling ashamed of feeling lazy, I hereby give you permission to be lazy, to accept that. We can be lazy and mentally ill together.